bodies of light, the seekers, the sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in. Let me get my hearts up. Let me put it down. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth in this divine energy essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than 5D, the fifth dimension, the place to be. Always, we're turning over into the Aquarian age, the fifth dimension, all of that good stuff. The planetary alignment is popping, is cosmically popping right now. And this full moon, happy full moon in Leo, by the way, this full moon is really activating the Lion's Gate. That's pretty much what I've been sensing for the past couple days and getting more information about it today. So I'm giving it to you fresh, hot off the press, just as I got it today. I've been in meditation all day, as much as I can, really just tuning in, sitting with the light codes, the sun codes. Oh, yes, happy to be here. Peace, love, and light. Welcome in, welcome in. Cosmic heavens. I like that. Cosmic heavens, celestial earth, from the heavens onto the earth. Let's talk about this celestials. Let's talk about these energetic bodies because they just up in the air doing their thing. And the cosmos bring the energy to us that we need. So I want us to tune in, to tune up, and really listen keenly. Take what resonates with you, because there's a lot going on. And this is a call, especially to those who their Uranus may be getting activated right now, their natal Uranus, especially if it's in any of the fixed signs, especially if it's in Taurus, and on the Taurus Scorpio axis, so to speak. So look into your charts. This is a video where I'm gonna ask you to check your natal, check your nativity scene, check your natal on this one, because there's a lot that is happening. I'm just gonna give it to you. It's so much information. It's almost like I feel like information overload a little bit. It's like so much coming in that I don't really know where to go. So I'm just letting spirit guide with the obvious, which the Lion's Gate. Um, let's talk about that reflection, if you will, because the full moon is a reflection from 6 months ago. From those who don't know, peace, C. Marie, I see you. Peace, love, and light. Welcome in. Come on in. Let's get this full moon energy. If you're sitting out under the moon, it is beautiful. It came up in a nice orange glow. And this is a reflection, as I said, it's a cosmic spotlight. The full moon is always a cosmic spotlight. It is always an opportunity to transmute some of those negative energies, those fear-based thoughts, the lack, the limitation, all that we have that has been blocking us, the old paradigm. If you're looking for an environment, a time and space to do any type of soul work, the full moon is always the best, because it's that cosmic spotlight highlighting everything. And so another thing to note is the full moon is always reflective from where we were 6 months ago, right? The moon is a reflection of the sun's light. So it's reflecting the sun's light, like not just literally in opposition of where it is now. It is literally reflecting the light of the sun that is in Aquarius right now. But it is also a reflection on where we were 6 months ago when the sun was in Leo, when the sun represents the outer world, the moon represents the inner world, our inner world, our innermost emotions, and so forth. So this is a reflection that the moon is really reflecting on where we were 6 months ago in our outer world, what was going on. And there was a lot, for those of you who remember, the 888 Lion's Gate, which is also known as the Halls of Amenti. So this is something, and I did a little diagram. I really need to have like a backdrop, so I drew a little something, and I'm going to share that with you, just so some of us can have a visual when we speak about things like the squares, and because there is a cross right now, there is a T square right now with the fixed cross. For those of you who know, um, there's a fixed cross, there's a cardinal cross. There is, you may have heard some of these terms before, like the grand cardinal cross, the grand fixed cross, the grand mutable cross. So these are the let's say the qualities of these signs or houses, as I like to call them. And just like you have the elements, each sign has an element, each sign has a quality that they're in. It's either going to be cardinal, fixed, or mutable. So I want us to kind of think about that as I'm explaining what we have going on right now. And this is very important because it's a pivotal time. We are at another choice point, and everything that is cosmically happening is divinely orchestrated to guide us through these angles of light. Remember, for those of you who remember when I did the video about angles of light, if you haven't seen it, put in angles of light in YouTube, celestial earth, you should be able to see it, or it may still be under no, it should be under celestial earth, divine energy. But the angles of light is the information and all that we're getting with these cosmic bodies that are doing their transcendence, right? The rhythm of the cosmos is a transcendence, right? And I believe that comes from, I can't take credit from that. I heard it somewhere that it was worded or phrased by, what's his name? Sadhguru. Um, and I love it. It's a beautiful thing to note about the cosmos. It is a cosmic rhythm. And if you can get into the rhythm of the cosmos, you will be able to do the transcend dance. We are transcending. The word transcendence is to transcend in a dance. There's a dance that we're doing. There's a balancing that we're doing that's harmonizing with the energy of the cosmos. The way I like to look at it is these energy bodies are what's bringing matter into the earth. It's organizing and it's orchestrating the matter here on earth, right? As above, so below. Everything we have here is coming from the information, from the ethers, through the sun, from the galactic center. It's all a cosmic dance that is happening. And we are here to be a part of that transcend dance. So let's transcend by transmuting to transform, right? So this full moon is really a time for change. And on the day too, the day today is 2/12, 2/12. And for those who know, when we do the numerology aspect of it, the numbers part, one is unification. So 2/12 is unification within what? The harmony of duality. That is the two. And even that, as I was meditating on that, it was just streaming and showing me how the 2/12 leads to the 4/24. 4/24. And that's for those who may get that. That's really like out there. That's the helix. And I did a video on that maybe a couple of weeks ago about the helix being a 4/24. You'd have to go back and look at that. I don't even remember the name of that video because I haven't been naming them as I've been here. I've just been going live as I can to share the information. But yes, the 2/12 goes into the 4/24, and this is a dance that we're doing right now. So let's look at the unification within this harmony of duality. We're harmonizing and we're building, right? Remembering we're in the vortex of 2/2 to 2/20, which is this master builder number 2/2 22. So we are building, we are creating. The full moon in Leo is creative. So this is a time, if you can, to really go within yourself and let your creative fire burn, right? Leo is a fire sign, right? And it's in opposition of Aquarius right now, where the sun is in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And you know, if you get the air going, you blow enough wind on that fire, you could stoke the fire, you could get the fire going again, you can blaze it up. So get the fire. The moon being in this fire sign where we were 6 months ago is really sparking that and taking that initiative to thrust us forward in creating what we're moving into. There is a creative activity that's happening, but in order to be creative, a lot of us have to be willing to see the things, the debris, what we need to get rid of, what we need to release during the full moon, especially tonight if you can. It's always good to do a release. What are we removing? What are we letting go? While we're transmuting, we are releasing. It's not a true transmutation if you do not release. We cannot transmute while still holding on to old stories, old narratives. And all of this is giving us a time to really, blast through that, to really look through look through the looking glass and remove what we need to remove, sweep away that debris so that we can have the flow of light and so that we can reflect that creativity, that creative spark, taking the initiative to be creative. This is what this full moon is kind of bringing back to us. It's time to do what must needs be done, things that were shown to us from 6 months ago, right? So let me see what we're saying here, right? I've been in all day, every day, meditating like, woo, that's right. Because it's like we on this roller coaster. Maybe it's a meditation roller coaster. I don't know. But it's just like, woo, what is happening? And a lot of us might have been going through it like even the month before. But there's this shift in time. There's a shift in time. The timelines are shifting. We're collapsing timelines. All of this is happening with where we are right now, right? Greetings, greetings. I see you, Kimberly. Full moon. It is enjoying the full moon. So let me give a little bit of this because I want to show y'all this diagram for whoever can, understand it faithfully. It's not, the mirrored reflection. When I turn it around, you're not seeing it backwards. But if you do, you'll be able to get it either way. So, ooh, 1 1. I'm seeing 1 1. I'm seeing a 10 and a 1, and the 10 is a 1. So 1 1. Right? Message. There's the unification, the harmonizing that we're here to be a part of. So I'll give you a little bit. I just have a small snippet of the download today because there is so much. It was just really hard to get it out, but the information is there. These shifts in energies, this is a time of change. So these shifts in energies represent an acute change in time for those willing and ready light bodies who have embarked on the journey into 5D. This full moon in Leo reflects the radical changes made 6 months ago and activates the creativity within that builds the momentum for the forward movement into the Aquarian age. As Pluto reveals and Mercury communicates what the sun brings to the outer world in Aquarius. This is a time to go. This is pretty much the time to go for what has been set and initiated in the Grand Fixed Cross 6 months ago. Because 6 months ago, around that time, there was this Grand Cross, right? And especially in regards to the Mars Uranus conjunction. And when we say cross, Grand Cross, we're really looking at an inverted square, if you get what I'm saying. So there's a square, and you'll see when I show you the diagram. And if you invert the square, you're talking about the cross. 1, 2, 3, the 4 points that it kind of makes a cross, right? So this is what the square is. So those qualities, it's always 4 signs in each quality. So let's say we're talking about the fixed signs right now. There are 4 fixed signs, right? And it's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Those are the 4 6 signs, and all of them are 4 fixed signs, sorry, and all of them are a different element, right? So we have Taurus, which is the element of earth. Leo is the element of fire. Scorpio is the element of water. And Aquarius is the element of air. And they are on opposite spectrums, right? Meaning they're on their own axis. Like you have Aquarius and Scorpio on, not Aquarius, Taurus and Scorpio on an axis, right? And that's the earth and water. That's pretty much, let's say, the feminine charge axis, which is usually how they are. It's going to be earth. It's always going to be earth and water, fire and air. And fire and air is usually the masculine energy. It's the plus sign or the positive axis, which is the masculine energy, so to speak. Nothing to do with gender, just what it is, right? So these things, what I want us to look at with this full moon, and let's look at the placements, because remember we also have this planetary parade going on, this planetary procession, or however you want to call it, the alignment. You've been hearing about that, the planetary alignment. With Aquarius, you have the sun in Aquarius at 26 degrees, mind you. We didn't even look at those numbers. The sun and the moon are at, 24 degrees, which 2 and 4 is 6. Again, we're seeing the number of receptivity, which is what 6 is, receptive completion. So we're seeing again receptivity, like this feminine energy is really pouring in, and it's really asking us to open and expand into this receptive activity. We must be receptive to receive the instructions that are coming. And believe me, some instructions are coming. It's coming in the light, it's coming in the energy, it's coming in the information. So it's for us to be receptive to what is happening. And also in Aquarius, we have Pluto and we have Mercury. Of course, Pluto is more in the beginning of the sign, right? Pluto just entered in fully on November, I believe it was November 19th, right? For the last time, because it was going back and forth, and now it's finally here, and it's gonna keep moving forward. So it's at about 1 degree. It's in the beginning of the sign. Mercury is more towards the end right now, around where the sun is. So it's in a closer conjunct, if not exact. I haven't looked at the degrees again because you know Mercury moves fast. Um, but it's in that end part of Aquarius. Either way, Pluto brings the revelation. Mercury is communication and travel. So when you look at it, that's why it shows here that Pluto reveals and Mercury communicates what the sun is bringing to the outer world, because the sun is in Aquarius. So it's everything happening that's being brought to the outer world. Pluto's bringing the revelations, the death to rebirth transformations that ultimately bring the revelations of truth, which is how we gain our personal power, right? Once the revelations of truth hit, you become more empowered in your personal power to do what must needs be done. So you have that with Mercury, which is also communicating what is being revealed, if that makes sense, right? So we have them working together in that little arena. And then all of that is really highlighting if it's in opposition of Leo, which is where we were 6 months ago, and now this is where we are, where the sun is right now with it. But the moon is Leo, is reminding us of the innermost parts. It's in the inner world, the inner emotions, and it's reminding us in our inner world and in our emotions to remember where we were and bring forth the creativity, right? So with that momentum from Pluto and Mercury, we're able to now bring the creativity of what it is we're to move forward with. It's given us the creative flow, the creative rush. So this is a time that if something has been on your mind, if something has pressed on you, if spirit, you've been getting the call, it's time to sit down and really answer that call. Write down, jot out what you need to jot out. Jot out. Write down what you need to write and share, express yourself. Let your creativity release itself. Let your imagination run free. Your image a nation, that brings forth all of the insights that you've been getting, all of the revelations you've been getting. This is not the time to ignore things that we have been seeing, especially from 6 months ago. You may have made a commitment and maybe you didn't quite step into it yet. This is the time where this full moon is bringing this reflection. It's activating that lion's gate. It's like it's reopening that gate and saying, hey, remember this gateway, right? So this is pretty much what's happening, right? And we have the timelines that are shifting. I want us to keep mind of that, because as we're doing this work, we're collapsing, closing out old timelines, which is causing us to quantum leap forward. This is also a time of, what else did I see? I told y'all was a lot coming, so I'm just giving as it comes back down. There is also the, bring it back to me, Spirit. I just had it. This is how much the information is there. There is also, what were we looking at? I'm going to give you the diagram and then see what comes back from that, because there is something else I know important that it wants us to see and look at. So I'm going to give you the diagram. It's probably, I probably should have drew it better than this, but just to give us an example of the square, right? See if you can see it. Right, this is really what a square looks like, but I'm drawing it this way so you can see the T-square. So if you look into it, if you hear any astrological forecasts, and you may hear them say there's a T-square, there is a T-square with the fixed signs, meaning that 3 of those out of that square of the fixed cross And let me show you. So this would be the cross. That would be the cross. But right now, it's just a T-square that is involved. So that means the 4 signs, if I was to label them, let me see if I can label them to make it make sense. So we got Taurus, we got Scorpio, we got Leo, we got Aquarius, right? So if I label it like this, is that ATL? Oh, ATL, but the ATL is the one that's in the T-square. So we have these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, Scorpio, Taurus on the same axis, as I said, Aquarius and Leo on the same axis, as I said before. And so the T-square is going to be the one that involves these 3. And the reason why it's a T, because these 3 are the ones that have a planet in it, has a placement in it. And so if you look at it, it looks like an upside down T. So you can see I drew a lighter line right here. There's the sun, Pluto, and Mercury in Aquarius. In Leo, we have the moon. And in Taurus, we have Uranus. So there is a T-square. So what's missing is Scorpio. So it's what I call like the hidden secret, right? The hidden secret, or where you're pulling back the bow. This is something else that I wanted to show you. So if you look at the T-square, it kind of forms an arch, if you will, right? An arch. And to be honest, all of this is within a circle, the circle of life. If you look at any astrological chart, they're not going to show you a square, they're going to show you a circle. It's always a circle, and you have to find the square, or you have to find the triangle, which is when you hear them say a trine. And whenever there's a trine, it usually means there's harmonizing energies. When there is a square, it usually means, kind of think of it like they squaring up. It usually means that there's some kind of tension, within these signs, right? And some people think of it as bad, but it's not. It's what we need. We actually need the tension, because in the trines where it's harmonizing, yes, it's good, and it definitely feels better than a square, but it sometimes runs the risk of making us too comfortable. So a lot of times what gets us moving, I'm pretty sure we all know that people get moving when fire gets lit under your butt. So when it's a square, it's more of a tension, just like when the sun and the moon are in opposition, right? And the moon is reflecting the sun, and the moon is bringing up all of these issues, right? That opposition is a tension, but it's calling you forth for balance. The opposition is only an opportunity to have balance and harmony. And when we see it that way, we stop fighting with it. We stop going against the grain, and we go with the flow. Go with the flow, right? So the square, whenever you see a square, like I usually go, yeah, let's get it. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves. But knowing that means I got to be prepared to be uncomfortable. Something is going to make me uncomfortable. Be prepared to be annoyed, irritated, angry, whatever it is. But true transcendence is when you take that annoyance, you take that frustration, you take whatever that fear-based feeling is, and you transmute it. You are now being given the opportunity to transmute. And that's how you find what you need to find. When you transmute and you transcend, now you can see what you have that you're working with, right? So as I was saying, so truly there's usually a circle, but why I'm showing you the arch is because I usually kind of see this as a bow. If you look at it, it's like a sideways bow, like this, like a bow and arrow. So you can see the arch, and then you see the string, and so that means you're pulling back the arrow that way, if that makes sense. So why am I showing this? Because with this T-square, it's highlighting a Uranus, a strong Uranus involvement, right? Let me put Uranus up here, because this is where Uranus is. All right, so Uranus is up here. And so I'm asking you to check your natal chart. Check your natal chart, especially those of you who have Uranus in Scorpio, right? So this is the hidden, this is what's missing. Something is hidden, and it's not hidden in a bad way, like it's hiding from you. It's just not seen because it's not partaking in the T-square, right? But it is very much a part of the square. It's just the only part that has nothing engaged in it, right? So imagine an arrow pulling back now, pulling back and gaining that momentum. So why I'm saying this, and this I'm going to go deeper into with my collective group when we meet tonight. So remember, also, if you hadn't had time to join, if you know that your Uranus is in one of these signs, especially, this may be for you, especially if your Uranus is in, Taurus, which is the current, if your natal Uranus is in Taurus or Scorpio, if it's on that axis, there's a stronger, let's say, tension or pull there. Um, and as I said, that part where Scorpio is, you kind of imagine a bow being pulled back. So it's pulling back the momentum to release it forward into the forward trajectory. You can kind of say into the now, where Uranus is right now, bringing radical changes in the earth sign of Taurus. And the earth sign is in Taurus is about possessions and materials. So it's still giving us an opportunity. Why I'm saying this is because it's giving us an opportunity to have those radical changes, changing our mindset, changing our perspective of how we see possessions, how we see materials. Some of us are still unraveling coming out of the illusions of how we were programmed to see material things, meaning people, places, all of that, right? How do you see it? How have you tied yourself to it? What is the personal attachment? Because part of part of changing the perspective is removing our attachment. So even as you're doing your full moon work, these are things you want to look at. And what is it that I can release? How can I release? What do I need to release? I need to release personal attachments, because those personal attachments are holding you in a way to these possessions in a way that does not exist, that does not serve you, that is a part of an illusion, and we hold ourselves bound to these illusions. So this is why it's important to allow, see the Uranus breaking up all of this of what's happening. Now keep in mind, Uranus rules Aquarius. So look at the involvement here, right? Uranus rules Aquarius. So Uranus is really playing a part here, a big part. And it rules Aquarius, the futuristic aspect of Aquarius, taking us to the next level through what? Change. Change is the operative word here. This is time for change. And if you count the numbers of today's date, it equals 5, which is what? Change, which is physical, spiritual balance, which equals change. Because when you have a harmony with the physical and spiritual, that's the masculine and feminine. And when you have a harmony, there is change. There is a creation. You create something new, so something changes. Every time you create something, something changes. So this is very effective for change. So Uranus is really doing the do here, right? So if you have your Uranus in any of these signs, I'm speaking, this works specifically with you. The planets are aligning, the cosmos are orchestrating the energy bodies, and it's for those who have the ears to hear, to listen. Right? So we have that Uranus doing stance. And if you have your natal Uranus in Taurus, it depends on how you look at it. You can look at this both ways. This is how I got it first, in the way that I'm showing you with this bow, the T square kind of creating this bow, and the arrow being pulled back this way so that it can go. Let me point the arrow. Ooh, let me make my little arrow. Y'all don't laugh at my drawings. This is my little arrow, right, being pulled back this way to go forward in the forward momentum of what Uranus is to be doing in Taurus, right? Making radical changes. And this also works well for people this just hit me now, for whose Chiron is in Taurus, because you're changing, you're healing. If you're making those changes, you're helping yourself to heal the wounds, which is what Chiron is, the wounded healer. So if you have a Chiron in Taurus, while Uranus is doing what it's supposed to be doing, making the radical changes, when you make those changes faithfully, you are healing those wounds as well, right? She's like, what I miss? My Uranus is in Scorpio. Yep, you're missing something. I'm multitasking, trying to punch out of the work. Oh, Kim, you gotta come in the meeting, Kim. We had one what? We started about 3 nights ago. It's the full moon, so tonight will be the fourth night. You know it's never too late to jump in. So if I need to shoot you the coordinates, let me know. Because we meeting tonight. In a few, actually, right after this. I'm probably just gonna take a mini break and jump right into the meeting. But you didn't miss too much, Kim. But not but and what's happening is the Uranus placement, because Uranus is really, to me, Uranus is like the star of this show right here. Like it's all centered around Uranus, because of the changes. I keep seeing change, and Uranus is that Oya energy, that radical change, and it's in Taurus. It's at the T of the T square, right? So, and these two are giving it the momentum, right? Because you have everything that's happening in Aquarius that I mentioned about the revelations and the communication, and that's helping also to make the changes that need to be made. It's like the creativity and all that needs to be made from Leo being creative on this axis right here, being creative to make those changes. So either way, the creativity is helping to change what needs to be changed, because we got to be creative. We got to, do what we got to do. We got to build. And then there's the revelations that are happening. It's all very intrinsic, right? And remember, Scorpio represents that whole, death to rebirth. So there's Pluto right there. Remember, Pluto is over here in Aquarius, and Pluto rules Scorpio. So you still also have that, let's say, that backative, that backup of death to rebirth transformation. And if your Uranus is here in Scorpio, like myself too, Kim, we have a lot of death to rebirth type changes, right? Transformative type changes. You are built for it. You've been through a lot when it comes to changes and things like that. That's that on the Scorpio. There's more we could go in. I'll go into more in the meetings. But I wanted to at least show that diagram, because I could say it to you all, but when you see it, you have a better understanding. When you're like, oh, that's the square, and that's the T square. And of course, like I said, when it goes inverted, the cross, what I'm talking about when I say the cross, the axis that they are on creates a cross. So therefore, that's why you may hear them say the fixed cross. So this would be what the fixed cross looks like, right? So, was there something else? Yes, there's a window of opportunity, and this had to do with the halls of Amenti. It's very reflective of where we were 6 months ago, so this is very important as well. So we've mentioned it around that time, that Neptune is, and it was at 29 degrees. It was graduating at that time. That means graduating from the illusions. And so this, what's happening here right now, is giving us an opportunity. And I wanted to make sure I share this with y'all. So Spirit, bring it all back to me, because I saw it earlier today. And I want to make sure I give it to you just as I saw it. And I was seeing that window of opportunity again, having the opportunity to yet again break the illusions. We're running out of space and opportunity. You know how they say nothing but space and opportunity. We're running out of space and opportunity within this time frame, because once Neptune shifts into Aquarius, as I've been mentioning, you are carrying those illusions with you if you don't get rid of them. We're having every opportunity to get rid of these illusions. So this window right here, from what I'm seeing, is giving us an opportunity to remove these illusions again, before we get into Pisces. Right now, the sun being in Aquarius, where it's at now with this full moon, having us work through all these energies, is giving us that opportunity to remove the illusions, the illusions of intrusions, all the programming that we had, everything that we, and not just in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, that we've come here to really undo during the passage, the transit of Neptune going through Pisces, as Neptune is that planet of dreams and the shadows. It can be illusions. So the evolving part, the higher aspect, is we want to be in dreams and aspirations. We want to come out of illusions, and Pluto really is helping us do that, because Pluto bringing the revelation helps to keep you away from the illusions, because it's constantly revealing truth. It's constantly highlighting to us, and that's what's being activated right now. So if we use this T square correctly, is what I was seeing. If we use it correctly while the sun is in Aquarius and do what we need to do, by the time the sun moves to Pisces, we'll be able to be more mutable. There we go. Because when we move in Pisces, Pisces is going to be more of a mutable sign. So if we take this time now to remove what we can remove while we're in the fixed positions, then by the time the sun shifts into Pisces, where all the other, we have a nice little stellium in Pisces right now. Neptune, Saturn, the node, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, and the North Node, right? Which, remember, the North Node is going this way, just now coming in, but it's at a close degrees with Neptune. 20, I think it's about 28 degrees. So what we do now, and this is just how it was being shown to me, if we do this, if we take the opportunity with these energies and do what we need to do, following the angles of light, following the directions of the angles of light, it is really helping us. It's all here to help us. And we can utilize this window, this last window of opportunity. I don't know if it's the last, because I thought the last one was the last. It's like I keep seeing there's another little window of opportunity. But I know once Neptune leaves Pisces, that's it. It's closing out that cycle, and it's moving into a new cycle starting with Aries. And whatever illusions you did not remove, and this is what I'm seeing now, whatever you did before I finish that, whatever you did not remove will reform with you in Aries, and you will think that you're living in a new light or light. You would think that you got rid of that illusion of intrusion, whatever it is in your life, world, and affairs. But all it did was it moved with you. You transformed it. And it just makes it harder for you to break the mold, right? We're being given the opportunity right now to utilize where Neptune is to break all illusions. So walking through the halls of Amenti did that for us 6 months ago. So now if we utilize this full moon, is what I'm seeing, if we utilize this full moon correctly, full moon in Leo, it's highlighting this back to us. It's reopening the 8-8 Lion's Gate, right? And just to show you, just as I saw the arrow, the bow and arrow, right? It's the same way I saw it with the 8-8 Lion's Gate. And let me show you how I saw 8-8-8. Let me see if I can show it to you this way. 8-8-8, the same way. It's like those three. 8-8-8 Lion's Gate. And it was like, where's the fourth 8? So February 8th, because we're in that window right now. We're in Aquarius now. So February 8th was where that arrow was pulling back its momentum, or reflecting these 3 8s. And that's just looking at it in that way. So in 2 ways, I was seeing that bow and arrow, and there's a momentum being pulled back right now where we are right now, that's saying, hey, let's look at this. Aim this truth this way, right? And whatever it is we're supposed to get, whatever illusions, if you think back 6 months ago, there were changes that were being made, and the changes were also that were being made were because of revelations that were being had, right? Accountability that was happening, walking through the halls of Amenti, which is the 8-8-8 portal, usually known as the 8-8 portal, is pulling us through allowing us to break the illusions, put down the egoism and the egoic body, putting it down so that we can have the breakthrough that we need, so we can leave these illusions behind. We had that opportunity then. We had another opportunity of that window, I believe, around November 19th, while it was shifting, while Pluto was shifting again, and we're having this opportunity again. Um, so I invite us to really get involved with this full moon. Do we have another full moon before it shifts? I believe we may have one more full moon before it shifts. Before Pisces leaves, before Neptune leaves Pisces, we may have one more full moon. And this is one of the major ones. This is very pivotal, and it's one of the major ones. So there's more, and I'm just going to let it stream as it comes, but I don't want to give too much information overload. So with that, just know that this is a beautiful time for us to pull together. Look at the energies, look at your natal chart, look at not just where the planets are currently, but how it affects you more personally is looking at look at your nativity scene, and whatever that is saying for you. It's really a call too as well to activate to those whose natal Uranus is in Taurus, Scorpio, if it's in any one of these fixed signs, but more specifically Uranus in Taurus and Scorpio, right? And if you feel this is for you, if it resonates, and it's not too late to, join in the community, in the Starseed Connections community. From 6 months ago, when we really started moving full throttle with it, it's not too late for that. So if this is for you, if it speaks to you, if you feel something turning, if you feel a choice point, pivotal moment, something creative that is bursting from the inside out, let your lion out. This is a time to be expressive. This is not a time to be quiet. So for those of you that have blocked throat chakras, do some throat chakra activation and exercises. It is time to release. Let that roaring lion out, right? Not with aggression, but with assertiveness. Let that lion out, taking initiative and being creative. Let that fire burn, that burning fire inside. Let it come all the way out. Bring it into the outer world. That's the balance that you want to have while it's in opposition of the sun. You want to bring that creativity into the outer world. You want to bring the changes that you were making 6 months ago into the outer world, right? Into the Aquarian age right now, into the sign of the Aquarius sign. And while the sun is in Aquarius, remember, it's activating us moving into the Aquarian age. It is activating, ushering us in to the Aquarian age. So allow this reflective creativity to bring you forth into the Aquarian age, which is bringing humanitarianism, collaboration, right? And the best way to collaborate is when we are knowing ourselves and when we have compassion for the others, which is what our South Node in Libra, what we went through with the last 18 months. If we successfully did, then we are, those of you who successfully were able to see that justice and balance in the South Node was really about accountability. Hello? Was really about self accountability. It's not about justice out there on everybody else. It's about justice in here, of you knowing how you show up in the collective. And when you truly know that now in the Aquarius energy, in the age of the Aquarian, where it's going to be more collaborations, more commune in unity, there is going to be more leaning towards that, but rightfully so, when you have compassion for the collective. And you have compassion when you take accountability for self, because instead of blaming others, even if they did do something to you, instead of blaming others, you take accountability for how you show up, for the part that you play, for your ability to respond, which is our responsibility, right? So when we do that, we're able to see where we truly are and where we are to truly be in this love frequency, in the new age of Aquarian. that is also ushering us more into 5D. This is a fifth dimensional shift, right? That is opening us up and allowing us to receive the light codes, the fifth density light, the light grid. A lot of us are activating on the light grid. If you're doing any of what I'm telling you right now, if you have been, we are activating the light grid and expanding the bandwidth and allowing more light to flow through not just you, but the earth, as we are conduits of this light and energy. We are in communication with, right? As Mercury is doing its due, we're in communication with the revelations that are happening in the outer world, in the Aquarian age right now in the outer world. So there's a lot happening, and this is very pivotal. So I want us to get this for who it's for. So if this is for you and you still feel like you want to get more in-depth information, you want to join the Star Seeds connection, um, feel free to contact me, divineenergystudio@gmail.com. Get involved in the cosmos, because the cosmos in you is the cosmos in me. You are the you in the universe. This is what we're coming into. This is where we're expanding in the future, when you're realizing that it's not so much about technology and the computers, it's about the technology in you. You are the technology. You are the computer, which all the computer does is input and output information. Is that not what we do? We are the input and output of information, which is light and energy from source. We are resourcing source. So I invite us to find the cosmos in you. Find how you, the cosmic dust from the ethers, are also the cosmic dust in the earth. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? Cosmically speaking. So I invite you to join this journey if it is for you. I'm only speaking to the light warriors and the chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. To get involved, this is a time to find your tribe. If it's not here, find your tribe, listen out for the call, and find where you are to be and get the support that helps you transcend into your next dimensional self. Right? 6, I'm seeing the 6 right now, receptivity. Ashe. So, with that said, thank you all for coming through, who all came through. Charles, Kimberly, C. Marie, who else came through? Chabelle, Charles. Oh, I said Charles already. I wanted to make sure I shout you all out. Thank you for coming through. Happy full moon in Leo. Happy 212, which is unification within the duality of harmony. That's going to go to the 424, the helix, for those of you who get what I'm saying. All right. Is there anything else? I believe that's it. I wanted to share this lovely information with faithfully. The diagram has helped. I'm going to do my do better than my little pen and pad here that I'm sharing with you. But faithfully, it was able to bring some kind of visual and another understanding to the squares, for those of you who might not be that familiar when you hear them say T-square and stuff like that. But it's really important, and that T-square is Cree in a bow. And before I go, I want to also share, because I did say this could be happening 2 ways. So in looking at this with the T-square, this is the part that's missing. And yes, the arrow is, as I said, being pulled back to point to that bow. It can also be said that the one that's missing is the way that the arrow is going. So this Uranus could also be pulling that way.